what's the process of, you have that meeting, then they sign with you, then there's like an intro call, kind of walk through kind of that process.
Yeah, good question. There's an onboarding process. When we start working with a client, we want to know a lot about them. And generally speaking, we have a pretty good idea because we've pitched them. Right. And they've awarded us the business or the project. So we know what they do. We know who their target audiences are. We know what their marketing objectives are. But when they really sign on, we always have an introductory meeting. We go through roles and responsibilities, so there's no questioning about who does what. Sometimes we'll establish like status meetings or calls, so that we have an ongoing cadence of action items or just check-ins with them. We'll definitely secure a lot of their assets on the brand side, so logo assets, fonts, color palettes, things like that. Credentials to websites, social media platforms, just all the things that we might need given our scope of work with them. And then it's really just kind of hitting the ground running. We'll have briefs that we develop that outline what we're going to do. And then again, those checkpoints that we schedule kind of help us keep moving things forward.
Right. During that pitch, is it you guys asking a lot of questions about them too, or do you do research before the pitch about learning about the whole company and kind of their value and stuff? Or like I said, is it more so you're on the pitch and you're asking the questions like, what is your target audience? What does your audience look like? Is it more females, males, kind of thing?
Yeah, like I think most of that's kind of, we've got a good sense of that already.
Okay.
I'll give you a good example though. We started working with Potosi Brewing Company a couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. And initially we did a project for them. It was a label kind of redesign over one of their beers. And we did that. We finished it. They loved it. And we knew about them, right, based on what we had discussed in their website, but we had never actually been there. Like we didn't see it for what it was.
Right.
And so we actually drove out to Potosi. It's a very small town in the border of Wisconsin and Iowa or Minnesota, I think.
Okay.
And we toured their facility, their brewery, and met with a bunch of other individuals in their organization. And, that was very eye-opening because you got a sense of the culture.
Right.
That you can't really get through conversations per se. Sometimes you can get that sense through, their branding work or their website, but actually going there, seeing and meeting them is always very, very helpful.
Right.
So now when we have a new client, we always try and do that.
Really?
Yeah. And it's very helpful to us because you get to make that personal connection. You get to understand the culture a bit better, which might bring up ideas.
Spark an idea.
Right. Spark an idea or just in general, give them a better sense of trust and support than just having it be a telecommunications conversation.
Right.
Which is very cold.
Yeah.
So we always try and meet in person and tour their facility initially and then meet in person as much as we can.
Gotcha.
After.
For that specific project, are there certain standards that you have to meet? Like I was thinking maybe the label thing. Do you have to do research on what you have to include on the label, such as the FDA information and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You have to do that research and stuff on your own?
Yeah. We did that early on, especially there was a number of label projects we were working on in the packaging industry. And especially on the alcoholic side, there are so many more checkpoints that you have to go through.
Yeah.
So, for instance, there's something called the TTB, which you have to submit artwork and naming and all these details to so that, they can sign off on ensuring that you're communicating all of the information on a label about a specific type of product the right way. And that it's not in competition with anything else.
Really?
Trademark infringement or anything like that. So you learn a lot being in these industries, which is a very cool part of the job.